as far as concerned with your Kanban system, the single Kanban system and other Kanban system. So before we start, as you know, your campus is already start and few people already appear the campus interview as far as concerned with Nimbus logistics. So before starting though this particular topic, it is very much practical relevance is there. Uh, so let's start a question session, then we'll proceed for the topic, today topic. As far as concerned with single Kanban, two win Kanban, then Pokla, then work in sequence, then theory of constant. These are the topic we have covered in today class. So before starting this particular session, I would like to ask Amlan, what do you mean by logistic? Amlan.
Sir, logistic is nothing but sir transfer of goods from the supplier to the end user. It is basically a unit of supply chain management.
Okay. Next question is to
Transportation of goods, sir.
exactly. It is directly concerned with transportation activities, starting from the transportation of raw material from the source of point to the source of consumption area. Moving to the next questions, what do you mean by supply chain management? Madhusmita Das. Madhumita, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Don't hesitate. You can provide what you know about the supply chain. That is the most important thing, because whenever we face more number of strange people in the upcoming campus drive, okay, you have to provide the appropriate or approx destinations.
So
Okay, what do you
it
mean
is
by
the
supply?
process of transport of raw materials to the final product to the end user.
Okay, okay. So as far as concerned with the supply chain management and the next part is logistic, these are very much interrelated. If you take the point of supply chain management, there are four number of nodes is there. One is your product, one next one is your facility in the form of warehouse, the next one is your carrier in the mode of transportation, and the last one is route. But in case of logistic, only transportations or you can say that is carrier or the route should be considered from the source of consumption to source of availabilities. Next question is what are the basic requirement for good manufacturing process? Tapasini Rana. Tapasini, are you there? Tapasini, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the basic need of good manufacturing practice?
From manufacturing practice.
Why manufacturing company required good manufacturing practice? What is the reason behind it?
To get better productivity from the organization.
Okay. Anything else?
Profit motive.
Okay. Any other point?
Uh,
Yes, yes. Listen, in case of good manufacturing, the most important thing is your arrangement of assemble lines, because this through this particular assemble line, the raw material can be converted into finishing good. So as far as concerned with the good manufacturing practice, as I told in the previous class, we have already discussed that one. So in case of good manufacturing practice, it ensure end product is free from contamination. Manufacturing has been well documented. The next is the employee are well trained, and the product should be up to the quality level. This is the basic requirement of good manufacturing practice. The next question to Manasi, what do you mean by make to stock?
Sir, when the time of need the stock will मतलब बेसिकली सर जब जरूरत पड़ेगा तभी हम मतलब वो बनाएंगे प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करेंगे.
Okay. The next question is to 16. Uh, what is the basic definition of Kanban?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Proceed. You may proceed.
So,
Yes, sir. Sir, Kanban is a type of lean manufacturing and
Yes.
just-in-time manufacturing. Sir, it is a type of method to achieve the just-in-time technique.
Okay. The next question to again Amlan. What do you mean by process flow chart?
Sorry, sir. Sir, again, sir.
What do you mean by process flow chart?
Sir, process flowchart means, sir, it is a graphical representation, sir. It is a graphical representation which follows the steps for the production process, sir.
Okay. The next question to Madhumita. What do you mean by process? Same fundamental question they should ask during your campus drive. So you are unable to provide this kind of answer. They simply reject you. Okay. Let me proceed.
So it is a step find out a particular in.
Okay.
Sir, it is nothing but combination of steps to get a final result, sir.
Exactly. It's a set of activity which convert input into output. That is known as process. The next is we are moving to the next questions. What do you mean by manufacturing? 16.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, manufacturing the making of goods by the man-made or by the machines that upon
Exactly.
completion the business to sales to customer.
Exactly. Manufacturing by hand or by machine is known as manufacturing. So as far as concerned with the next questions, you know, in case of what is the basic difference between classical manufacturing cell and your dynamic manufacturing cell? Anyone from your side?
Sir, classical manufacturing cell is a old method and it is uh, worker labor. No, no, it is machine
Exactly. It is in case
intensive.
of classical manufacturing cell, it is machine intensive, and as far
And
as
dynamic is
is
labor
labor
intensive.
intensive. The next question to Satya. What do you mean by just in time? Satya, are you there?
Sir, yes, sir, I'm there, sir.
Okay.
So just in time means the availability of right resources, labors, and we can say that process on the right time, on the right place. ऐसे ही कुछ है सर.
Okay. Good. Next is can you provide next question to Amlan? Can you provide some example of process industry?
So process industry.
Yes.
Sir, any product, sir. For example, sir, your the production of, sir, sugar, sir. For example, first
Exactly.
the sugarcane comes from the farmers. Then it goes through different processes, and finally it is converted into sugars.
Okay.
So there are different steps in between. And so this is the example of sub process.
Okay. Next question to 16. What are the objective of just in time? 16. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, objective of just in time, sir, no inventory or store, and to reduce or eliminate the storage of inventories.
Okay. Anything else? Yes, Manas Vera. What are the objective of inventory management? Sorry, just in time.
So zero delay.
Okay.
I zero lead time.
Okay. And most important aspect of just-in-time concept, that is zero failures. That is the concept behind just-in-time. Okay, moving to the next questions. What do you mean by inventory, Madhumita? Madhumita, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
The inventory stock goods of stock.
Amlan, what do you mean by inventory?
Sir, inventory means nothing but sir, the finished goods which are stored in the godown or in the storerooms for inventory. Sir, inventory also can be raw material. It can also be termed as raw materials, sir, which is stored in the godown for future use, or it can be finished good which is stored and which will be transported to the market, which will be thrown to the market.
Okay, next question. Suppose grinding undergo which manufacturing process? Manasi?
Process manufacturing, grinding.
Over to Satya. Grinding include in which manufacturing process?
Sir, which manufacturing process?
Hmm. For example, there is three option is there. One is machining process, assemble process, forming process.
So forming में होगा.
Okay, it is under machining process. Okay,
Okay,
next
sir.
question. Okay, next question. In case of welding, the option are, for example, in case of welding.
इकट्ठे आंसू.
Okay, is it clear?
Break.
Hello.
हाँ sir.
Okay. In case of welding, it is under which process? Machining, assemble, and forming process.
Assemble.
Assembly process.
Okay, assembly process. In case of casting, it is under which process? Forming, assemble, or machining?
Forming process.
Forming.
Forming.
Okay, good. Forming process. Next, moving to the, what do you mean by group technology? Amlan?
So, group technologies are combination of different technologies which are being used for the production of a particular product.
Okay, next question to Manasi. What do you mean by Muda?
Sir, it's a seven waste.
Muda means it's a Japanese word. In Japanese word, it is known as waste. It is under the quality implement tool that is known as seven waste. So what are the element include in case of seven waste? Anyone?
Overproduction.
Yes, yes. Proceed.
Excessive motion or waiting time.
Okay. I think
Overproduction.
first one is your open production. The next one is waiting time. The third one is
Sir,
transportation.
transport is some motion of
Transport.
movement, sir.
Then
Defects, sir.
unappropriate processing,
Yes,
unnecessary
sir.
Over
inventory,
processing
unnecessary motion.
inventory.
The
Right?
overproduction, sir.
Okay, so these are the things we have already gone through in the previous class, and in today class we are directly concerned with. Is it the PPT is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So today we are discussing the different type of Kanban along with the alternative of Kanban cards. So as far as concerned with the Kanban cards are a key component of Kanban, and they signal need to move material within a production facility or to move material from outside supplier into production facilities. The moving to the second point, it helped to lower inventory level and helping company implementing such system to be more competitive. So basically, the Kanban should be implemented for improve improve and maintain the high level of production. If you go to the proper definition of Kanban, it should be implemented in a system to improve and maintain high level of production. That is the basic objective of Kanban system. So as far as concerned with the Kanban is nothing but a signal that need to move material within the production facilities. So as far as concerned with the particular production facilities, which consists of different kind of machines, and this machine contain various type of they provide various type of operation activities. And apart from those things, the material or the unfinished product, or you can say that is work in progress product, are moved from one workstation to other workstation. But the thing is that this particular, if you employ this Kanban card within the number of workstation, then provide the signal of movement of materials. And it also reduce the level of inventory and helping company to implement such system for more competitive in the regard or in the subject of productivity. So here the moving to the next slide. Here the typical example of your Kanban card. If you go to the first Kanban point of view, there are two type of Kanban card is concerned. One is withdrawal Kanban, another is production Kanban. So as far as concerned with the withdrawal Kanban, as you see in the particular figure, the part number, part name, the the proceeding process and subsequent process are written. And the next part is this particular card contain box capacity, box type, and issue number. That means, suppose this particular card belong to a machining shop, where the you can say that is drilling, boring, milling operations should be carried out. So as far as concerned with this particular function, they provide the different capacity, the type of job, and issue to the next workstation. And subsequently, they provide the process flow, that is known as, if you see in a particular figure, the stamping, then rubber tire, that should be mentioned. Similarly, if you go to the production type Kanban, here the same thing written, the part number, part name, and the process is already mentioned. But the thing is that they, in case of production Kanban, they show the stock location at which to store and container capacity is mentioned. So after the machining operation or machining process, they should be properly stored in a particular location, and that location shows in case of production Kanban. So if you go to the first one, in case of withdrawal Kanban, so this is also known as move card. In the previous figure, you have already seen in case of proceeding sequence and subsequent process are mentioned. So here this particular withdrawal Kanban indicate a move card or conveyance card Kanban, where a component is to be shipped from one production part to the other. So this type of Kanban are used for signaling. So this card usually connect to stipulated number of parts that can be taken workplace where they are needed. So here this is a typical example or a flow chart for a particular withdrawal Kanban. So whenever you use the production card along with withdrawal Kanban card, the first the supply process should be start and the product directly go to finished goods store and finished goods store to customer process. So the green directly indicate the product flow from supply process to finished good, then the product directly go to customer. But the thing is that where to indicate or where to provide the signal, in between the supply process, you have to provide the production card. And in case of withdrawal Kanban card, that should be provided in the reverse direction, starting from the customer process to the finishing good. So as I told, I just repeat this one. This is a move card or convey card Kanban, where a component to be shifted from one production part to another. And this type of Kanban are used for signaling. Moving to the next one. So in case of signal or production Kanban, these are very much similar. But the thing is that it is depend upon the type of Kanban card used in the shop floor. The first type is known as your single card or single card Kanban. So in this one card or single card is simplest implementation of Kanban system, and this approach is used when upstream and downstream workstation, respectively, the proceeding and succeeding are physically close to each other, so they can share the same buffer stock. That means whenever you implement this single card or one card Kanban system within two number of workstations, that that represent the preceding and succeeding process of this particular workstation, which are physically get attached each other, and they are share the same buffer stock arise from the previous process. and this card is called production order Kanban, or that is known as your POK. So the buffer stock act either as a outbound buffer for workstation A, or in case of inbound buffer for workstation B. So similarly, if you have any doubt, you can ask in case of single can convert. Hello, anyone? Any question from convert? Shall I move to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. In case of this particular card, here the typical example where production, uh, okay. So in case of in between workstation 1 and workstation 2, there is a buffer of raw material is there. So due to that buffer, you have to implement a production order Kanban board with signaling workstation A and workstation B is reversely connected. So in between that thing, each workstation A and workstation B share the same buffer stock, where the raw material should be outbound for workstation A and inbound for workstation B. So that signal should be provided through the production order Kanban system in a particular subfloor. Moving to the next slide. So in case of single card or one card Kanban, here each container, the just like your just in time unit load, as the product order Kanban attached indicate the quantity of certain material contained, along with the eventual complementary information. So as you see in the previous figure, the production order Kanban is signaling to the workstation 1, which provide the basic flow of product to the workstation number B. In that case, they will share the same buffer. In case of workstation A, as a outbound buffer, and in case of workstation B, is a inbound buffer. So this product order Kanban also represent the product order for the workstation A and indicating the replenish to the container with the same quantity. So when the B operator withdraw a container from the buffer, he remove the POK from the container and post it on the board. So similarly, if they finish the particular work and they directly signaling the product order Kanban. So hence an operator knows that one container with a specific part number must be replenished in the stock buffer. So that is the thing which the one card Kanban will play a vital role in between when you implement in case of number of workstation, when the raw material should be smoothly flow from one workstation to other workstation and without any kind of without minimum, or you can say that is minimize the buffer stock. So moving to the next one, the sorry moving to the next one, the next type is your two card Kanban system. So in case of two card Kanban system, the two card Kanban system, in that case each workstation has separate inbound and outbound buffer, and two different type of card are used. So one is as I show in the previous slide, one is your production Kanban and another is your withdrawal Kanban. So in case of withdrawal Kanban contains information on how much uh, material, that is raw material or semi-finished material, the succeeding process should withdraw. So similarly, if you go to the next slide, in that case, here two number of your workstation is attached. In case of a subfloor, in that subfloor, the first outbound for workstation B, that is outbound buffer, and that is known as production Kanban. They directly go to the production Kanban, signaling to the production order Kanban board for the workstation number 1. The next part is then, in case of outbound buffer, it directly go to the withdrawal Kanban signal, and in case of workstation B, where it collect the inbound buffer and they signal to other withdrawal Kanban board. So here the typical example, in that case, if you move to the each work in progress container in the inbound buffer has a withdrawal Kanban attached, and as well each work in progress in the outbound buffer has product order Kanban. So if you go to the next part, the withdrawal Kanban and product order Kanban are paired. That is, each given part number is always reported both in the production order Kanban and your withdrawal Kanban. When a container is withdrawn from an inbound buffer, the B operator posts the withdrawal Kanban on the withdrawal Kanban board. Then a warehouse keeper operator uses the withdrawal Kanban as a picking list to replenish in the inbound buffer, and he takes the withdrawal Kanban off the board and look for the pair of product order Kanban in the inbound offer. In the previous slide, in that case, if you go to the initial point, starting from this point, so whenever the raw material is passed through the workstation number 1 and pass through the workstation number 1, it directly go to the outbound buffer where the workstation number 1 signaling the product order Kanban board. And after the outbound order, this unfinished raw material is directly go to the inbound buffer of workstation number B, where whenever it travel from outbound to inbound buffer of workstation number B, the workstation number B directly signaling the withdrawal Kanban board. In that case, if you go to the last point, a particular warehouse keeper operator use this particular withdrawal Kanban board and picking the list to replace the outbound buffer. He takes the withdrawal Kanban off the board and look for the pair of product owner Kanban in case of outbound buffer. So this is the whole scenario of your two card Kanban. Moving to the next one, then he moves the corresponding quantity of the indicated material from the A outbound to the B inbound buffer while exchanging the related product order Kanban with the withdrawal Kanban on the container and restoring the initial situation. So finally, the post of left production order Kanban on the product Kanban board, and hence like in the previous scenario, the workstation operator knows that one container of that kind must be replenished in the bound of Stucker buffer. Then the last point, the effective of this simple technique, which has significant influence by the policy followed by the Kanban process order and in this particular board. Till that, if you have any doubt, you can ask anyone. Any question from your side? Anyone? Thank you. Moving to the next one. One is your alternative approach of just-in-time concept. The first approach is your constant working process. Then the next one is POCA. The next one is just in sequence, and the last one is theory of constraint. So moving to the first one, in case of constant work-in process. So what do you mean by work-in process? Anyone? Amlan?
Sir, work in process.
Yes. What do you mean by work-in process?
So work in process means the production process is going on. I mean, the production process is not over. Yes, sir.
Okay, 16. What do you mean by work-in process? Amlan, you are telling work in progress. I'm asking about work in process.
Sir, work in process is a process inventory or a company partially finished good waiting for completion.
Okay, it's a partially finished code waiting for completion. That is known as work in process. Clear? The next question is moving to the next. There is no question. Moving to the next one. So, in case of constant work in progress or process, and it is developed by Mark Spearman and Wallace Hoffman in the during 90s. He tried to mix the pull and push approach. and it schedules the tasks for each station with a push approach while the production is triggered by the inventory event, which is pull rules. So this particular constant work in progress or work in process is developed by Spearsman and Wallace Hoff during 90s, and it is a mixed approach of your pull and push Kanban system. So if you go to the push approach, that directly trigger the production by inventory event, and it directly schedule the tasks for each session in case of push approach. In case of pull approach, the production is triggered by inventory events. That is the concept. The next part is, it is very much similar to your Kanban card, but the card is do not trigger the production of a single component in the closest upward workstations. And if you go to conversely, the card are used to start the whole production line and beginning downwards. So as far as concerned with constant work in process, it is a mixed approach in case of your push and pull Kanban system. So as far as concerned with the push approach, it directly provide the scheduled tasks for each workstation. But as far as concerned with the pull approach, it directly trigger the production activities by the help of inventory event. That is the concept behind constant work in process. Moving to the next one. So here the typical example or systematic view of this particular constant work in process. So if you go to the work in process, it keeps a fixed level of work in process or one finished part triggered to new part released to the first machine. So as far as concerned with this particular subfloor, this green indicate number of machines, and the uh, gray color indicate your buffer, and green arrow indicate the parts movement from one workstation to other, and the gray indicate in case of your card that should be moved from the first workstation to the other workstation. So as far as concerned with the constant working process, whenever the raw material should be passed in case of machine, after that machines, it directly goes to the outbound buffer, and this outbound buffer is the inbound buffer of your parts in case of workstation number 2. Similarly, in case of uh, outbound buffer for workstation number 3 and outbound buffer for workstation number 2 and inbound buffer for workstation number 3, and finally this work in progress is reached up to your finished good buffer, where they directly signaling this particular flow to the first machines. This directly indicate the improve and maintain a high level of productions without, you can say, that is without any kind of difficulties, without any kind of fault, without any kind of error. So due to implementation of constant work in progress, as you know, this is a particular signal card. That signal provide the basic information regarding number of workstations and number of inbound and outbound buffer, along with the part movement, part number, and different cards such as your production card and your visual Kanban card that shows the typical flow of fixed level of your work in progress in a particular machine shop. So moving to the next one. So in case of this one, for example, in case of first workstation up to the last one, the process is push driven, and the material are purchased as they get an inbound buffer, notwithstanding the stock levels. And only the last workstation has predetermined stock level, and similarly, the just-in-time outbound buffer. All sequences are arranged or managed through a fast input, fast output policies. And in order to have a leveled production rate to avoid the production spikes or ideal time, the system is calibrated on the slowest workstation and the bottlenecks. Then moving to the next slide. Till now, if you have any doubt, you can ask anyone. Any doubt from your side? Anyone?
Sir, work in progress or work in process रे difference टा कौन?
These are very much similar things. But the thing is that in case of work in progress, your raw material machining increments should be partially considered in case of for in case of partially these are involved in case of uh, that is converting or for completion of good in a particular environment. But in case of work in process, it directly indicate the flow of material or partially unfinished material that should be converted or they should be waiting for completions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Moving to the next one. The next topic is your comparison of constant working process with your Kanban system. So as far as concerned with constant working process, the system immediately react to increase in customer demand. As customer increase the rate at which the job are withdraw, at high demand job are released into the systems. So due to uncertainty of demand, you can directly implement constant work in progress. But in as far as concerned with Kanban system, it is not highly it is not register high demand job or in case of high demand job, in case of you can say that is customer demand. The next point is the constant work in process system does not need the setup and maintenance of Kanban card and container for each part type. But in case of Kanban system, it need the setup and maintenance of Kanban cards. The next part is that the constant work in process system react well for the higher variable part mix demand while maintaining relatively constant level of inventory. But as far as concerned with the Kanban system, it less variable part mix demand and maintain the lower level of constant level of inventories. The next is the constant work in process system are differ from Kanban. All the work in process is aggregated and treated as a whole. And the last one is the constant working process is like a Kanban card, except the part type get assigned only on its way back when it need the most urgent demand in the backlog. That means what? If it is required in case of previous sequence of your machine or workstation, that should be urgently meet the demand in case of your backlog. That is these are the basic difference between your or basic comparison between your constant working process with your Kanban system. Then moving to the next alternative, that is POCA. So this is the another alternative techniques mixing pull and push approach in case of POCA systems. Same thing as far as concerned with your constant working process system. But the thing is that if you go to the POCA, it's directly stand the pair cell overlapping loop for card with authorizations. I repeat, the paired cell overlapping loops of card with authorization, which stand at the base of quick response manufacturing. And this approach is introduced during 1981. Moving to the next one. So in case of quick response manufacturing, as you know, the manufacturing is the conversion of raw material into finishing good, and the next part is manufacturing by hand or machine is known as manufacturing. But the thing is that whenever you implement the POCA as an alternative of just-in-time concept or your Kanban, uh, in that case, the quick response manufacturing is aimed to minimize the lead time rather than addressing the waste reduction as a total production schedule dodge. So it's a series of tools such as manufacturing, critical path time, cellular organization, batch optimization, high level of MRP are used to minimize the stock level. The lesser is the lead time, the lesser is on-hand inventory. That is the concept behind POCA. So this POCA is a series of tool which is implemented to minimize the lead time. So there is a question is arise. What do you mean by lead time? Anyone? What do you mean by lead time? Yes.
Hello,
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
sir. Voice is not audible, sir.
What do you mean by lead time? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, lead time, sir. Sir, the time between, sir, starting and ending of a production process, sir.
Okay, that is the time between the initiation and completion of a production process, that is known as lead time. The next question is for 16. What is standard time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So standard time.
Can you provide an example of standard time?
No, sir.
Okay, Madhumita, what do you mean by standard time? Okay, Tapasini,
I don't know.
you don't know? Yes, Satya.
Sir, it is the assumed time frame in which the production process should be completed.
Exactly. The assume or approx time to complete a particular job, that is known as standard time. So this is the most important thing whenever you directly go to production unit, as far as concerned with manufacturing activities. It is the duty of operation manager is to minimize your lead time. So as you know, the lead time means the time between initiation and completion of production process. Okay, the next question is to Manasi Bera. What is production process?
So the number of steps or activities is pursued for the process.
Okay, Madhumita, what do you mean by production process? Yes, you may proceed. Yes. As you know, the process is a set of activities which convert input into output. So my question is, what is production process?
Combination of various material.
Yes. Amlan, what do you mean by production process?
Sir, production is nothing but, sir, acquisition of from the beginning of acquisition of raw material to the to the reaching of finished good to the end user is called production process, sir.
Okay, it is a sequence of activities which indicate the movement of raw material from workstation to the other workstations, and finally it's reach up to, or which convert the raw material into your finished good. The next part is that if you go to the we directly move to the you can say that is the next slide. The same thing as I told, in case of your POCA is directly focus on quick response manufacturing. So as I told, the manufacturing is conversion of raw material into finishing good by hand or machine. But the basic aim of quick response manufacturing is to minimize the lead time and addressing waste reductions. So as you know, this particular series, this is a series of tools which include manufacturing critical path time, then cellular organization, making more number of cell, then batch optimization, number of batches should be optimized, and high level MRP, material requirement planning, should be need to minimize the stock levels. And as you know, in case of less lead time, that is less on hand inventory consumption. So moving to the next one, so this is the typical POCA card, which include the source process or your cell number. Then this is destination process or cell number, and card number is given. Total number of card in total number of card number is given, along with a QR code is given. So this typically QR code, which whenever you scan this particular thing, that will reflect the minimization of read time and along with the reduction of wastage also. So here the flow of your POCA card, when a particular you can say that is workstation and workstation 2 is synchronized by the help of POCA card, they directly send the information to workstation number 1 to workstation number 2, vice versa, regarding the source process, destination process, different type of card number and total number of card is used, and that should be reflected in the form of QR code. The next part is that, so in case of POCA uses production control card. This is otherwise you can say that it's a production control card. As you, in case of production control, you have to minimize the lead time and inventory level. These are the things which is implemented in case of controlling the production activities. So as far as concerned with the POCA uses production control card in order to control material flow. So these cards are only used between or not within work cell. Inside each cell, the material flow, reassemble, and the constant work in progress approach. So this POCA card is a capacity signal card, and in case if you go to the point number 3, the POCA system may overcome the drawback of both standard material requirement planning and Kanban system, and helping managing both short-term fluctuation in case of capacity. In case of capacity, just consider slowdown of your capacity, failure of capacity, setup of machine, and quality issue are concerned in case of fluctuation of capacity, and reducing unnecessary stock which is always present in and any unavailable replacement system. So this is the you can say in case of most important aspect of POCA is to minimize your lead time. The next part is minimize the reduction of wastage in the production system. So that is why it is otherwise called production control card, or it is also called your capacity signal card. So that's all for today. If you have any question, you can ask. Any question from your side?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's discuss on previous class. Yes,
So exam ଟା sure ହବ ଏଇ ମାସରେ?
yes. So that's why I'm sending the MCQs.
तो मैंने कौन
सर
मतलब
अभी आप कॉलेज में
ऑनलाइन?
हो क्या?
हाँ, कॉलेज में हम लोग हैं, मतलब अभी नहीं है, मतलब
अच्छा
इन वी आर इन भुवनेश्वर.
अच्छा.
एग्जाम इसी महीने ही होगा.